Okay, we are live.
Awesome.
Thanks for joining me today. You're my second guest.
Awesome. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, hopefully I'll get the word out and we can get people that want to come on. I like to have a guest, fairly regular,
Hmm.
as well as the local artists from here in Fredericton, around the Maritimes, and I got some national artists that they're gonna come on eventually. So
Nice. That's
just cool. That way
awesome.
we get to hear from everybody, right?
Yeah. It's so cool to see there's such like an abundance of a music scene here as well. Like there's so many artists and like so many like super talented ones too that just do so much different stuff. There's so much diversity when it comes to music here, which I really love.
Yeah. Well, what I found, like I played in a band a long time ago that we were signed by Universal, and we had the eight big
Mhm.
agents, and we toured all over. But I think out here, even though I'm talking to some industry people and they're saying the same thing, like the East Coast as the indie scene kind of gets overlooked.
Yeah, it does. It so
And
does.
it, well, I play in a cover band here for fun, right? So we're pretty busy. It's fun. But I've
Mm-hmm.
been working with like bands in the States and helping out other agencies off and on over the last 10, 12 years, just kind of as a hobby. So I
Hmm.
kind of want to get the East Coast on the map is my kind of goal. But
That
the
would be
bands I've been,
awesome.
but
Yeah.
the bands I've been finding here are blowing my mind. There's so much talent here that is right up there, if not as good or better as some of the known artists and
Oh,
bands that's getting
100%.
open for that. We have that same talent is coming out of here. Which
Mhm.
and most of what I'm finding, it's like Moncton, Fredericton, St. John. Like,
Oh, 100%, yeah. There's a couple from, like, Sackville and smaller places like that, but most of it is from, like, the bigger cities. I find there's such an abundance in Fredericton especially. Unfortunately, Moncton's kinda like there's definitely some good bands from Moncton, but now it's getting kinda sketchy to play there, and a lot of bands avoid playing there. Like, the recent incident, obviously, with
yeah.
John McLaren is, like, a prominent, like, case of that. That's just one of the cases that made the news. But
Hmm.
I find like there's like such diversity in Fredericton especially. But I also live here, so I know more of what's going on right here. But it's just like we have everything you could imagine in this city. It's insane.
Yeah. And I see you have a lot of shows coming up. But one
Mhm.
thing I found different from way back when I was in cover bands when I first moved here is we had an abundance of venues. There was a lot of venues
Yeah.
and there was bands playing like almost every other night and they were packed, like
Yeah.
all the old clubs.
That's
Now it seems a little people are coming out again. They're starting to come back out to shows
hmm
and the same venues ain't around. There is, if I'm saying for cover bands, it's one thing. There's more venues again popping up because I play at those ones. But
hmm
my heart and soul was always original music. That's what I like to hear. I don't even
hmm
listen to the bands I play in, just doing it for fun, right?
I have the same thing with our Shania Twain tribute, which we've only performed at the Christmas cover show, but we are going to be starting rehearsals again in April. I don't listen to much Shania besides when we're rehearsing. It
Mm.
also drives me insane and gets stuck in my head if I listen to it too much. So even just rehearsing, it's like it's in my head for like 5 hours straight the next day, you know?
I
So
believe our bass player played with you at that.
yes, he did Barry. Yeah, I
Yeah,
noticed on one of the posters on your Facebook recently. I was like, oh, I know him.
yeah. We call him Barry Oki because he knows every song there is on guitar and bass.
That's mental.
So yeah, like I'm just getting this podcast going, so I don't have a lot of people watching live. My goal is to have them come in, check out the chats, and
Yeah.
then when
Yeah.
I play people's videos, maybe people can leave their comments and reviews.
Yeah. No,
But
that'd be awesome.
I'm sharing these out too. I'm on a lot of music groups
Mhm.
where they all got like thousands of followers and likes. So I'm going to be
Nice.
sharing these on their pages. So hopefully I can drive them to the YouTube to watch their guests and drive them
Yeah.
to, like to your socials and stuff so people can find
That
you.
would be
So we'll
awesome.
get right into it here, just so people get to know you a little better.
Mhm.
Tell us a little bit about yourself. Are you from here? Did you grow up here?
So I'm originally from England.
Oh
We
wow.
immigrated over. So I was born 2005. So I'm 20 years old. And in 2007, like shortly before I turned 2 years old, we moved here. My parents bought land together. They wanted to do festivals and stuff. So we actually did the Green Festival, and that was on the east coast of New Brunswick. And we did that for a few years. And then when my parents split, we ended up selling the land a couple years later, and we sold it to Evolve before Evolve's kind of gone on hiatus or dissipated.
Oh wow.
And yeah, so I grew up in a pretty musical family. Like my mom's classically trained, my dad played guitar, and like I've first wanted to actually do acting. I was debating on actually going to college for acting in Toronto or New York, and then I decided to go with music, and it was more so like not intentionally like at first. It was more so like I was like severely depressed as a kid, and I found the only thing that really got me through everything was like music. Like I would after school just sit and play guitar for 4 hours straight, just like trying to comfort myself. And then eventually like my mom got me some more equipment. Like she got me like my interface that I still use now. Um and I had initially sent a song to a producer to mix. Like it was some random person on Discord, and they turned this acoustic pop song into a lo-fi beat, and it was absolutely terrible. And so I decided to start self-producing my stuff. And 3 years later, here we are. So yeah.
Nice. I guess you answered some of my questions already. So
Yeah.
you've been actively playing music, writing music since you were young.
Yeah, I started off singing first. Like I remember singing "You're Beautiful" by James Blunt when I was like 4 or 5 years old. There's still an old YouTube video of me singing an opera song of one of Jonathan and Charlotte's songs when I was like 6. That's still on YouTube. Um, and yeah, so I was like a big fan of singing, and then I eventually got vocal lessons when I was like 13, 14. Um, Started picking up guitar in 2019 when I was about, I think, 13 years old. 14? 14, yeah. Um, yeah, so I've just been self-taught for the most part, besides vocal lessons, and just been, pouring my heart into it.
Yeah. It's kind of like me. I started playing guitar when I was 11, but I'm a lot older than you. So back in my old days, we never had the internet.
Yeah.
So we're trying to learn how to get these books as I try to figure out how to read tab and no one to teach you.
Yeah. No, that's it. I
So,
started off with like guitar tabs on like the app, and then I would look at like chords and stuff like that.
yeah, but
I
I think
mostly
that.
like I
Oh,
mostly
sorry, I
like
cut you off.
all good. You're good. Delay doesn't help.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I mostly like did that and then started learning tabs a bit, and now like I find like I know stuff better by ear more so than anything. But I do definitely like still use that as a good resource. I found that was super helpful, honestly.
yeah. Well, I like the idea of all these lessons and teaching songs on the internet because I play in a cover band, right? So instead
Hmm.
of me having to spend hours and hours trying to learn it now, I can just find someone teaching it and take 5 minutes. They go, "Oh yeah, that's how it goes."
Yep.
So it's
Yep.
pretty
Exactly.
pretty handy that way.
Yeah. Some things about how modern technology has advanced that's helped music has honestly been such a blessing, but also such a double-edged sword at the same time. Because it's more accessible, which is great. But now anyone can be a musician, especially with AI, which is like they're not real musicians. I will never
No,
call them a real musician. However, like in some ways, like a DAW, like a digital audio workstation, like that I find is super helpful, especially if you're in a compact space. Um, and that's one of the things that technologically speaking musically I've really loved, and I'm really grateful that I have been able to grow up working with that, because obviously 14 years old getting a $200 interface and having a program that has that coming with it is way more affordable than getting a huge system with a whole mixer and everything.
oh yeah, like
Yeah,
you can do by yourself in your studio what would have cost us $5,000 back in
legit.
1994.
Yep, exactly. And it
to have
cost
some
me
to have someone do it
$200
for
for it,
us.
yeah.
So I was going to ask you too. I try to just wing these right without having
Yeah,
questions and all that.
yeah, of course.
So what music do you like? Like what did you grow up listening to, and what do you listen to now, like as an artist or genre?
It's so broad. I listen to basically everything, like you name it. Like I'll listen to, J-pop, I'll listen to acoustic pop, indie, rock, gothic rock, 90s rock, grunge, punk. I listen to a little bit of metal, but more so like kind of like what Sleep Token does, where they blend different genres and stuff. I feel like Sleep Token really encapsulates not exactly what I want to do, but how I blend so many different genres that I love into my music. Because there's just so much I listen to. Growing up, my mom listened to a lot of like British like indie rock bands or like more so on the acoustic side, but she also loves, traditional like operatic music or like classical and stuff like that. She loves Celine Dion. And then when I was 7, I met a friend who introduced me to so much rock music. And he had like a 10,000 song playlist, and it was like classic 90s, 80s, grunge, punk, rock, all the hits, like that's how I got into the Cranberries, Three Doors Down, all that kind of stuff, that whole
Yeah.
generation. Um, as the years have gone on, I've gone through different phases. So I've gone through like where I liked hyperpop a lot, which I do still listen to a bit. And I've gone through like more so in the last like 2 years, I've gotten really into gothic rock since 2024. My friend was like, "Oh, you should listen to this band. You'd love them." It was Typo Negative, and now I have like Peter Steele tattoo right on my arm because like that band was such a heavy influence in from me transitioning from trying to find what genre I wanted to do and making rock songs I didn't like and acoustic stuff that I'm like, yeah, this is decent, but it's not really what I want to be doing. And then I came out with Lover's Feast, and that was my first gothic song. Um, and they heavily influenced it, but my stuff's not the same as theirs, but there's a lot of that element there.
Yeah. So you
Mhm.
Alexander Flexman, you consider goth rock.
Yeah.
The look anyway. I
Yeah.
heard some of your music.
Definitely look.
It's yeah, like I said, your music's different, so it's
Yeah.
it's well, it's very
It's like
creative and original, right?
yeah, it goes from like gothic rock to gothic and rock, I find. Like
Yeah,
especially like our newest single You is literally punk with like chorus and slightly gothic elements to it, but it's more punk than anything. Um And so like yeah, I don't really like sticking to one thing, and I think the band really likes that I'm digging more into like grunge and punk too with my stuff.
hmm,
Um cuz I like some of the softer, slower, sadder stuff, but I also am like I really want to get people dancing and like I love making people feel with my music. That's one of the main things, but I also want people to feel things and also have a good time. So like and like You is such an intense song for me. I wrote, produced, recorded, mixed, mastered in 4 days. In the span of a weekend I did the entire thing, and I was obsessed with it. I listened to it for like 300 times after it was done. And that one's such an like intense like longing and yearning song, but it's so upbeat and fun that you can't help but like dance to it. And that's kind of the direction I've been really enjoying going in recently.
yeah,
Um, Still with definitely some of my slower, sadder, acoustic-y stuff as well.
nice.
Yeah.
So, from your stuff that you recorded, you did on your own. You now have a full band, right?
Yep.
Are you guys working on new music?
We definitely are. We've only jammed a couple things out, like Foolish and Young, which was my second to last single. So Foolish and Young and You are going to be on my next record. Um, and something that we're trying is like which is new for me personally because I've done all of like the writing and stuff on my own with a couple exceptions with my bassist Emily, who her artist name's Marrow. She's recorded and written bass for 2 songs for my last album. And so basically what my current game plan is to like get a demo of this is the idea of what I want. And it's like I've got some of the guitars and like the main rhythm guitar will be done and an idea of drums. And I'll take that to the band and say like modify this how you want. And we'll bounce ideas back and forth until we're like happy with it. But then that's like still leaving me kind of more in control of my writing while also letting them add their own experience and knowledge and what they like into the songs.
Yeah,
Um, but we're mostly focusing currently on prepping for tour.
prepping
But
for
we
it.
have dabbled a bit with like modifying like Foolish and Young and how we're going to do that live as a band, as opposed to the record, like the song recorded is more so how I would do it solo in the slower pace and, sad tone. But I'm really excited to work with them. They're all so skilled and I'm just so grateful I got so many awesome local musicians that want to work on this project with me and fully believe in what we're doing, and they're all super excited about it, so that makes me really happy.
Yeah, and I'm excited. for you too, because I see a lot of bands, right? And well, a lot of bands, I don't want to sound like I'm being mean. They just feel entitled. They feel entitled because they're in a band,
Mm,
but they, you know what I mean? Like you said, anyone can record music now and throw it
yeah.
out online. But
No, there's definitely a bit of the entitlement. Definitely like a lot of nomatism I find as well
yeah, I
happens
guess
in the
that's
music
kind of what I was
industry.
trying to say.
Yeah, yeah. Definitely
But
a
if
lot of that, unfortunately, which like I understand, but also I really hate. That's something I hated in school, and that's something I still really hate. Um, because there's so much diversity here, whether it comes to like, women in music, queers in music, or, different cultures in music. And they're all so freaking talented, but some of them are so like, oh, what's the right word? Like underplayed. There's a different term that I'm kind of thinking in my
I know
head.
what you mean.
Yeah,
Exactly.
but it's like there's so many like hidden gems that are just kind of like swept under the rug that just like but they're phenomenal. They should be on these big stages playing in front of crowds, like and there's just so many then there's like so many people I want to give a spotlight to, which is what I love doing with the studio space here.
Yeah, and we'll get into that too in a little bit.
Yeah.
But what I was thinking, what I was trying to say that goes along with what you were
Mhm.
saying, like because it's so easy to put music and throw it out there and create a Facebook page and be a band. But you're I see it as it's thrown it into a pool, like same as people when they just release music on their own, throw it on Spotify, and they call it good. They think then they'll complain about the music industry being bad. But
Yeah.
you take that whole pool of billions and billions of music thrown out there, or else even locally, all the ones that are. I can tell when bands are they're branding themselves. Not it's not just the music,
Mhm.
it's the look too.
Yep.
The branding themselves not as just four guys that walking down the street you wouldn't know was in a band, or on stage
Yeah.
you wouldn't know they're in a band if they
In
stepped
their
off
denim
stage,
and
right?
jeans that look like everyone else, and they'll wear it to a
Which is hey,
funeral
not
or a
everyone has to
wedding.
dress up. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
No, I get it. I
Like
get 100%
if
what
I'm
you're saying.
scrolling and I see this band, that band, that band, I'm just visually looking, and then I come across Alexander Flexman, I'm gonna stop and check it out,
Mhm.
right? You know what I mean?
Yeah, branding is such an important thing. And honestly, like, since I was 13, I've been wanting to do like the full goth look. Like, I've done I've done eyeliner and all this like crazy drawing stuff on my face. I've never done like the white base and the full trad goth look. So
Yeah,
finally, like, doing that has been so much fun because I've wanted to for like 7 years. But also, like, now doing that and like, I'll always put the lightning on my face as well when I'm performing with the band. So it's like I feel fully geared up and there's a specific look, which is so cool. But branding is such an important part of making music, and figuring out who you are and not just like, oh, I'm going to put myself in this box kind of thing. It's more so figuring out what resonates with you and tells who you are as an artist, that, as soon as people see that, they know who that is, or they see that design or whatever and they're like, I recognize that. That's, associated with this
yeah.
thing or reminds them of it.
Mm.
Um, and that's something that gets quite overlooked at times.
It
I
does, it
find.
does.
Yeah.
Because if you go back to the older bands, like if I know who Alice Cooper is, I know who
Yeah.
ACDC is,
Or
or,
Kiss, they have the classic,
yeah.
makeup and everything, the whole get up.
So everyone they stand out a little more, right?
Yep. The only time I
And
like being the center of attention, I promise. I
and
wear
I'm
I wear
finding
the
too,
makeup in
like I
public
find a
and I'm
lot of
like,
people,
oh.
yeah, I'm finding too, like a lot of bands they don't write for the audience.
Mm, yeah.
Like I'm a guitar player, so I love doing fancy guitar solos. But when I'm writing a song, I'll cut those out and just try to make something that's simple. I got a melody that's going to keep the listener there. But I
Hmm.
try to explain that with bands as with producer ears, and they just kind of pisses them off, right? They're like, "No, it's my
Yeah.
solo. I want like this." And I'm like, well, people and like not just radio, but people that are listening, they can lose a train of thought pretty fast if something's not going nowhere, right? So
Yeah.
I have,
It needs to resonate, and that's why, like, when I'm feeling an intense emotion and I want to write about it, that's why I go fully into it, and that's why I start writing and producing it all at the same time,
mhm.
because that's when I'm feeling it the most, when I'm going to channel all of that out, and that's the only way people resonate with your stuff, is if you're really putting your heart into it. You can't just half-ass a song.
No, we can't. It takes a lot of work.
Yeah.
Like, you made me think of something funny when you're talking about
Yeah.
putting the makeup on and stuff. Because I'm playing a
Hmm.
cover band, it's for fun. Like I don't have a real look as if it was my own original band. But one night I decided, so you know what, I'm gonna go all 80s. I wore the wig, I put a black eyeliner on, I painted my fingernails black.
Oh, it's
Then the next
awesome.
day I was like, man, I can't get this off.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I
I'll do
don't
it
I
again
don't play with
someday,
nail
but
polish, but nail polish, I love black nail polish, but like I currently work a 9 to 5 in the kitchen, so like I can't wear it because it's so hard to get off. Also, it gets chipped halfway through the show, and most of it's gone by that point. So like, because I
yeah.
mostly don't play with a pick, so it's just like it's gone.
Okay, so go back to the band. You
Hmm.
guys have a lot of shows.
Hmm.
You're prepping to go on tour, playing all over the place this summer.
Yep.
Uh, what's your future goals? To start playing from going local, regional to
I have a lot of
national, like,
goals.
as in travel?
Yeah, I have so many goals. So I would love to tour Canada. I would also love to tour England, and even a bit of Europe. I'm avoiding America until everything sorts itself the fuck out there. I don't feel like risking it. And in terms of like music stuff, like my music career and not like venue and all that other stuff, because those are sub tangents. Um, one of my main goals is I'd love to get a Juno. I would love to get a Juno. And I would love to do it as a self-produced artist, because I plan on continuing to self-produce. And that would be like one of my big end goals would be that, when it comes to my own career. Yeah, just would love to do music full time as well, between producing, making my own music, having a venue kind of stuff. Those are some of my biggest goals for sure when it comes to my career.
Doing music as a living would be an awesome goal to have, so you're not
Mhm.
stuck into the 9 to 5. Because I find when you're stuck into
Yeah.
those, like, I got a lot of things I want to do, but I can't do it because I'm working, right?
Well,
But
that's
I
the
don't make
problem.
not
Yep.
making enough money doing the other things where you can say I can quit work.
Yep.
But
Yeah, if I make a few hundred a month from music, and that's already like incredible. Like that's like 3 years and I'm already making, like half my rent, which is great, but it's only half my rent a month that I'm making, which is like I need to be making 5 times that amount to be able to quit my 9 to 5. But I'm at that point where I'm in that in between state where I work a 9 to 5 4 days a week in order to pay my rent. But then I also work 70 hours each week in total between both,
yeah,
like between working that 9 to 5 and all the other stuff I do. So I'm putting in usually 12-hour days,
hmm,
because my 9 to 5 is 30 hours a week. And so
yeah,
I'm usually putting in 12 hours days, and then I'm putting in another 8 to 12 on my days off working my other jobs. So it's that in between state where if I don't keep up, then I'm not going to be able to do this full time. But I'm also constantly tired and burnt out because I have to do both.
yeah.
But it's
That's
rewarding. So,
and that's what I see. What happens with a lot of bands from here, like it's the whole people would want to do and have all those same goals as what you just said, but
mhm.
when that gets presented to a certain bands, then it comes that decision of there's still what ifs, right? Like I can't quit my job and tour Canada.
Mm, yep.
You know what I mean? So I know
Yeah.
bands like that want to do it, but when it but they if the opportunity presented itself, they would have to say, well, no, we can't do that, right? So like it's a
Mm,
hard choice. Like when I did it in my band, I just quit my job and come back and
yep.
found another one when I needed it, right?
Nice. Yeah.
It depends on what you do, right? Like my line
Yeah.
of work in the trades, I could quit a job today and get another one tomorrow. You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah. Trades is definitely useful for that. Yeah, currently I work a 9 to 5 Monday through Thursday, which gives me a consistent schedule, and then I have my weekends off, which is great for touring.
mhm.
But once it gets to a national point, then it would be a lot more difficult. But by that point, I believe I should be doing this full time. I have pretty high hopes, in the next 2 years to be doing this full time, if not 5 years. I'm hoping to get a 9 to 5 that is less exhausting and not in a kitchen, because the burnout rate is intense and I've done kitchens for long enough that I don't want to do them anymore. So,
Yeah,
but
having
it's
those
worth it for the scheduling.
having that time off you have with your job is great. Like you said, you got those days
Hmm.
because I even knew bands that still worked but were had commercial radio play and they were getting open next. They would like fly to Toronto, play around Ontario for like 3 days straight, then they'd be a little tired. They'd be back home for Monday again, but they
Yep.
would go out, but they would end up making about 10 grand in those 3 days because they were getting
That's
the big
mental.
spots.
Yeah. Oh my
But
gosh.
unfortunately, I don't know. Music's hard, right? It's hard.
100%.
They
And
got to the
especially with
point. They
like
got to the point where they wouldn't want to quit their job and go, but
Mhm.
they're kicking themselves in the ass for saying, "Well, we probably could have." You know what I mean? So,
Yeah, exactly.
but it's
And
better
especially
too
with like
because
the
it's better for a
economy.
younger person as yourself. Like, you know what I mean? Because I
Yeah,
know a lot
it's
of great musicians that are like my age and up still wanting to do this, but we're at the point now where it's like, well, you don't know if you can, right? Like,
yeah.
kind of the risk of just leaving
Mhm.
everything at this age and
Yeah.
paying your mortgage and feeding your
Yeah.
kids and kind of thing.
It's a struggle,
So I just
yeah.
want to help other. I just want to help other people now that want to do it, right? So
That's
yeah, I
awesome.
work from the comfort of my own chair.
Yeah.
But
That's amazing. Um oh, I had a few thoughts and they ran away really fast. um what is it? I had so many sub tangents. Okay, I remembered
yeah,
one. With the economy in its current state, backtracking to like venues and stuff, there's so many venues that are closing as well that like in the Maritimes, like Halifax had two that closed recently. Um and I know Fredericton recently had multiple restaurants that closed and one of them did do shows.
hmm,
Which thankfully now has been turned into another cafe that does shows. Um but it's still like it just shows how pressing and hard it is for these businesses to survive in this economy and how much harder it is for musicians to get those gigs, which goes back to the whole nomadism thing, which is why it's mostly the same people that are able to get those gigs and actually go up the food chain. um
yeah,
Whereas like someone from my position, like it was quite difficult at first. Like I've been contacting venues since December. I contacted festivals in September, which I expected no responses from festivals to be honest. But I wanted to at least start, squeaky what squeaky wheel gets the grease, that saying.
yeah.
Um and so it's just good to, try cuz other like what's the worst that's going to happen if you try, You don't get it, that's fine. You tried better than not trying and then your name's not getting out there. And what really helped me with booking the tour, because all of it's been self booked so far for the most
Hmm.
part. And what
Amazing.
really helped me was I sat down with Eddie Young, and he's booked me a couple times. And I was like, hey, like you do a lot of booking. I know you've taken a step back this year. Can I sit down with you in person and get some like tips and advice on which direction to go and who to contact? And we sat down for like 2 hours and I had like 2 pages filled with notes of like, all this different stuff. And that really helped. He's been such a pillar of support in the music community in Fredericton. And I'm super grateful for everything he does.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. It's he has that festival going on last night and still this weekend, right? Still.
They had I think that was Zach who owns the Cap that hosted the Queen Street Crawl. It
Oh,
was Thursday and
okay.
Friday. Yeah. Yeah, no, that was really awesome. I went to both nights. Absolutely packed with people last night too. The Cap we got into, but it was at max capacity. There had to have been like 100 people in there. Like I swear, like it
No,
was
that's
like
good.
jammed. Yeah, I was overstimulated. I was like, I can't actually do this. I really want to see the last band, but I can't. This is too many people, and I'm already like super tired and like because I've just been going out to things constantly the past few weeks or doing shows here, so it's just been like I really need my own like downtime. Um, but the music was phenomenal, and I've heard a lot of the acts before. I've even hired some of the acts here. Um, like Jenna James, she was phenomenal. Like just such amazing vocalist. The Nectar, awesome as well. Red Cardinal, just so many. There's so many. There's not one I'm like, oh, I didn't enjoy that. Like
Okay, so you seen Red Cardinal that power?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I
they
saw
have
them at Par 94.
their music video and song they have out on YouTube. That's really good.
It is really good. Yeah,
I played it
I
on my
have
video
a.
show last night.
Oh, nice. I got a CD from them last year because I played a gig at the Cap actually with them. Eddie had booked that one too. And my mom actually came with me to that one. She was like, "Oh, I really like them," which is like surprising because my mom doesn't really like rock music, but she actually quite enjoyed what they do. So I was really happy to see there was a decent crowd there last night for them as well.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
So speaking of your studio, is that where you're
Mhm.
sitting right now?
Yes, it is.
Is
There's the
this
stage.
in so this is in your own place, your own house?
Yep. Yeah, it's in my apartment.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, so I
And
have
you're
a like a two bedroom, and so I had when my roommates moved out, I was like, I need a proper studio because I have had the most jankiest of studios for the entire time I've been producing. For the most part, I had a desk in my bedroom, which is the same one I'm still using. But I've also, like I've traveled a bit and I've lived in different places. And so like I've turned someone's living room into a studio, I've turned someone's attic into a studio. I've just had my laptop and brought like a little MIDI keyboard with me and traveled in a car with that. Like I've done recordings for voice acting and stuff at 6 a.m. on the side of a highway. And so I immediately took the opportunity. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna have my own space. Like I can afford this. Like, like it's worth like being a little more poor to have my own space and, enjoy living by myself, which has been so nice. Um, but yeah, no, I love the space too. I really like how it's coming along.
Yeah, if I had my own home studio again, I would never leave.
Yeah.
Before
I
I
never
ended up,
want to leave. It's the comfiest office, honestly.
because I had a spare room before I had kids again, and that was my studio back then. So,
Yeah. Oh,
and
that's awesome.
because it's nice to be able to record your own music and get ideas. I miss that.
100%.
It's kind of
Yeah.
boring just sitting here with a guitar by myself and just playing and nothing to do. So,
Mm, I can't imagine not having a DAW, honestly. Like not being able to just like build a project in 30 minutes and have an idea for a song, like
so
I
you're
I, I
you're
would struggle.
so you're hosting house shows, eh? People are coming in mostly.
Yeah,
It's like acoustic performances, obviously.
we do a
Mostly.
bit of both actually. So
Oh,
we
really?
do we do two shows a month regularly. So we do one acoustic solo show a month, so it'll be like solo artists. And then we do one band show a month. So we've had a lot of different
Oh,
bands in
nice.
here. We've had my band, we've had another band I'm in called Stripe Jumper, Escaping Bliss, Strychnine, 1812, Trash Oyster, Happy Al, Turn Signal, Keegan and the Vandalorians, Joel Strauss, All Louis.
Okay,
Like we've
wow.
had a ton of bands in here. And the band ones have been doing better turnout wise than the solo ones. Um, but people have been really enjoying them. It's been such a treat. I think it was our gig with Joel Strauss and All Louis actually that was nearly sold out at max capacity. We had 32 people in my apartment.
Wow.
Yeah, it was mental.
So another thing that you do, I don't know if this is one of your goals to do too. Like you like producing and recording other people.
Yep, yep. I
So
take
you do it.
commissions online and stuff too.
Yeah, I noticed I've seen some stuff you worked with some people recently.
Mhm.
I think I seen it. It was you had a guy in there. Was he like a? Well, he's an older guy, but plays guitar.
Peter
Maybe.
McLagan.
Yeah, I met him
Mhm.
at the music store. That was funny. He was playing. I met him at the music store. I was talking to him. And the same day, I find a picture of you with him at your studio on here. I'm like, oh my god, that's that guy I was just talking to at the music store.
Nice, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's my main regular client. We're currently working on getting an EP together for him. So I actually met him on Facebook Marketplace, believe it or not.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was struggling for rent back in the fall because I ended up having to leave one of my jobs and I had another one lined up and then that job ghosted me. So then I was out of a job for like 2 months. And so like I was struggling a lot financially and then I wanted to sell my Yamaha like Pacifica because at the time it wasn't working properly. Like I had just a couple minor issues that needed fixing, but in order to get someone to professionally fix it, it would cost the amount it would to buy a new one.
Oh yeah.
Um, because like I'd taken a couple of the frets out because someone said if you take the frets out, it will stop the buzzing, and that was the stupidest advice I've ever gotten. Just saying. But I was trying to sell it on Marketplace, and he'd messaged asking for it, and then my friend Daniel Monteith from
Oh
Monteith,
Dan. Yeah, Dan.
yeah,
Yeah.
he's awesome. Yeah,
Yes.
he
Yeah.
he was like, if you still have it in a couple days when I'm down, like I'll try fixing it. And so he was able to just fix it, and then I told Peter because Peter was like, "Are you still selling it?" And I was like, "No, sorry." Like I ended up getting it fixed, and then he starts randomly messaging like, "So do you like what software do you use?" And I was like, "I use Cubase." And he was like, "Oh, can you like teach me how to use it? Cause like I'll like pay you." And I was like, "This guy doesn't seem creepy. All right, yeah, let's do it." And so I meet up with him. I actually met him the night before because I had a showcase at the Cap. And he was like, "Oh, I'm Peter, by the way." And I was like, "Oh, okay, nice to meet you." A lot shorter than I expected. And yeah, the next day we opened up Cubase and I start showing him things. He's like, I'm only gonna remember like a quarter of this information. He was like, oh wait, you're self-produced? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, do you want to just like produce my stuff for me? So we started with a song he had actually recorded himself, which was Hold Me Tom's song. And so I took that demo and just like added a couple things to it and just mixed it and mastered it. And then Broken Bottles was the first one we actually recorded here. And we're currently working on a third single for his EP. So I'm really excited to work with him.
I always like to hope to get more people in the chat, but I want to give a shout out to the chat. Danny Hawk says, I love this. Come up earlier when we were talking about the Shania thing. She said, I love old Shania songs. they were catchy
so
and upbeat.
good. They were. I'm not such a fan of her new stuff, but I really like some of her older stuff for sure.
Yeah,
like a lot of like Up and stuff is really good. I have a couple of her CDs. I'm trying to think of. Honey, I'm Home is pretty catchy. I know there was a clip of Brittany Broski interviewing Harry Styles, and he just started. She was like, "What's your favorite Shania song?" And he just starts singing that one.
Yeah, yeah. I even played Shania in a country band one time.
Oh yeah, it's a lot of fun. I like doing the whole get up too.
That's interesting. You're using Cubase. A lot of people ain't. That was I learned Cubase when it first came out, and this was a long time ago. I wouldn't even know how to do it now, but that's what my father had his own home studio, and it was Cubase that he had. And I remember I would stay up all night, record parts, and get everything all structured to the song I want, and then I would delete all my files by mistake. And I'd get so mad.
Oh, that'd be the worst.
Then you could find them again, but it was like, no one. I'm trying to figure it was all my own, right? Like spend like 12 hours trying to get files back. And
oh my gosh. Especially back then, you can't just Google it and go, how do I fix this thing? And then have an answer generated right there for you or whatever, Yeah,
I just thought it was interesting that you said Cubase because like a lot of people are using the DAWs are using other programs, right?
And I had initially started with Reaper, but Cubase came with my interface. And at first, like when I first opened Cubase, I was like, this is so much happening. I don't know how to even do anything on this besides move my mouse. And so I closed it for a couple of years, and then I started learning how to use it. And then I started doing some Googling because I was thinking of getting Logic Pro because that was the one like Billie Eilish used, and she's also been a huge influence on me musically.
Yeah.
And then what I found was that all DAWs are basically the same. The only difference between like specifically the Cubase version I have and Logic Pro is the plugins that come with it. But the version I have of Cubase comes with some really awesome plugins. It comes with really good like MIDI drums and Hallian Sonic, which has like so much different instrumentation. It has like so many crazy synths as well, which I've really enjoyed working with.
See, that stuff's too much for me to try to learn now. I'd rather just pay someone to record me, right?
Yeah.
I was interested in all that way back in the day, but now I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to save up some money and go see James and say, record my tracks.
Yeah, don't blame
or yourself as well, right? Like
James is better than me though. James's audio quality is phenomenal.
I don't know of a whole lot of people in town doing it, but I'm out of the loop a little bit, so I only know really James and yourself right now that's doing this thing. So if anyone watching this on the replay wants some music recorded, you know where. I'll put the links. What I'll do after here is I'll go back in to the comments on YouTube, and I'll pin all your links there so people can find you.
Thank you so much. That's awesome.
What else was I gonna ask? That's pretty good. We're going 40 minutes. That's good.
Yeah.
I like winging them to go better. I did an interview before. It was all structured and people were asking me questions. And I'm like, what?
No, that's the problem if you get too structured with it. I have, for my interviews, I have like, I think 6 or 7 questions, but they're very broad. But there's some like odd questions in there. Like one of my favorites is always like, if you had one wish, what would it be? Is how I end the interviews. So I always ask like, just kind of more broad stuff to let them, go into detail about, what they do and all that. And then you can just ask them questions based off what they say. I find it's a lot more personal that way.
I was reading something today. It was an interview. It said a question to ask is ask your guest what their most useless talent is. I got thinking to myself, like, I don't know yet. Probably a lot for me.
There's unless I ever get the role of voice acting a chicken, I can do an impeccable chicken impression. Like I sound like an actual chicken. I've never been hired to voice a chicken, so it's currently still useless. That's
I guess
the only one I can really think of.
I guess mine would be an animal too. I got this thing I can do with my throat, and it sounds like a. It's not like a meow. It's, you know, some of these cat sounds, and it would just freak dogs out when I'm walking down the road. I'll
Oh
just
my
do it to see what the dog
god.
does.
Yeah. I do that with chickens too. I'll walk up to a coop and they'll all start screaming. It'll just be like all of them will start like panicking together, and I'm like, yeah, I've just given you an anxiety attack. You're welcome.
Yeah, hey, yeah. Well, I think this probably wrap it up for today because my phone's been blowing up with the band messaging about,
Oh yeah, no worries.
do you got your set list? When are we coming to get you? What time are you getting there? Like, I gotta go. Our show was a little earlier tonight, so I actually got to go get myself ready, get everything
Wait,
all
what time is it?
organized. So, for everyone watching this in the replay, I'll have the links. You can find everything, tour dates, show dates, and I'll share them as you post them too. I'll just put them on my Facebook page and my
Sweet.
Instagram. I don't really go to Instagram much because I'm new to it, so like I only got like 4
Yeah.
people following me. But in YouTube, I'll share I'll share your tour dates as they're coming up and
Sweet,
band
awesome.
information, so then everyone knows where to come and find you.
Amazing. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, and thanks for coming on. This has been great.
Of course, this was so much fun. Thank you.
We can figure out. I was like, how do I shut this off again? Oh yeah, right there. Okay, we'll talk soon.
Okay, sounds good.